but I just, that there are people sitting here from very diverse parts of the world, people from South America, Mexico, all over the United States. During the daytime class, there are people from the Middle East, Europe. And I think it's a miracle that this work that I teach, that I learned from Rudy, can touch people in so many different places. And I'm just very grateful to be used as a vehicle to do this. You know, I couldn't think of a better thing to do with life than to transmit the Shakti, the energy, to help people to grow spiritually. So it's kind of a miracle in a strange way, technological miracle, you know, that this Zoom thing exists. And to me, it's really strange because I didn't even know what Zoom was before, before COVID came and I started doing this. And I never thought it would work. And after the first class, I said, this is extraordinary. The energy was very powerful. And I found that people really were taking it in and growing with it. And it's continued now for 2.5 years, this thing. So God bless you all. And I think it's a very big miracle that people could be sitting here from all over the United States, Mexico, South America, and sometimes even Europe and the Middle East. They come to this class. So we'll have a meditation. And then afterwards, if there are any questions, I'll be happy to try and answer them.
Stuart, I have a question, Bob Sink.
That's all.
This was from one of your recent blog posts.
1 second, Bob. Yeah, go ahead.
In a recent blog post, you had written, problems create noble people when they're transformed into positive energy.
Yes.
Could you elaborate on that?
Yes. You know, we complain too much about our problems and we're always upset about them. And we allow them to take over inside us and depress us and get us unhappy and create, a mess, conflicted mess inside human beings. And, and the exact opposite can take place. Problems could be a simple reminder that we have to go deeper inside ourselves, open more to a higher force in the universe, build a stronger core inside ourselves, and develop the capacity to truly detach ourselves from them. It just simply depends upon how we use them. I mean, Rudy always talked about the irritation in an oyster. It creates a pearl. Irritations in people, problems in people can create pearls. It can make noble people if they're willing to transform the problems by drawing them into the chakra below the navel, by developing chi, building a strong core inside themselves because of the problems. And by then doing that, they can detach themselves from the things that are bothering them. Instead of getting swept away in a puddle of, it's like a puddle of insanity that is created inside people. And all people have to do is to develop a chakra system that's strong enough to do what I'm talking about. And every problem becomes a way to grow instead of a way to defeat ourselves. And I promise you that I don't care how long you live, problems are never going to go away. There are always going to be problems. It's just the nature of what it means to live on the earth, and we have to deal with these things. So we might as well learn how to deal with them in a way, that we can transform them. I mean, into a spiritual life. We can transform them into Shakti, into Chi, into energy that nurtures us inside. It's like Rudy also said, he used to he talked about this a lot, is that, compost creates an organic garden. You got to compost the garden. What is compost? It's just broken down food and shit, manure. And that's what human problems are. They're compost. They're manure. We need to learn to use them, break them down, and use them to build a strong inner life. And it can be done. That's what these classes are for, to develop a chakra system that it makes it possible for a person to do what I'm talking about. It's not something you can just do. It takes time. It takes work. It takes inner development. It takes, truly, it's a monumental effort. And the only person we're working against is ourselves and how we respond to things that are wrong in life. I mean, I know I reached a place in myself where there was no longer positive and negative. It was just energy. So when so-called negative things happen, I didn't get too crazy about them. I just said, okay, Stuart, go deeper, open more, connect, make your connection with God, spirit stronger. Let it really nurture you inside. That will transform the problems into energy, and that energy will help you to grow. And I know getting caught up in the moment, how do you do this? Well, you can't do this getting caught up in the moment. But the moment has to remind you that you have to do this. All right, I haven't arrived yet. I got a little depressed. I got unhappy because something went wrong. I didn't win the lotto. I didn't get this. My partner walked out on me for a day. Whatever it is, there's always problems. So instead of allowing them to suck your energy out of you, okay, I have to work deeper on myself. I have to build this. Please, I have to build a chakra system that truly enables me to transform those problems into energy that will get me closer, on my spiritual journey. So there's no longer positive and negative. There's just energy. Just energy. And it's positive because we see it to be positive, and it's negative because we see it to be negative. It's just energy. And we interpret it the way our chemistry works. So instead of interpreting it, draw it into the chakra system, bring it into the chakra below the navel, build chi, build that power in yourself, that strength that can take those problems and use them to help you build a spiritual life. I hope this is clear because it's such an important element, not only in spiritual practice and meditate, but just in living, I mean, you can't go through a day without confronting half a dozen problems. I mean, you're not alive. You have to be dead in order to go through a day not confronting problems. Well, we might as well learn how to use them in a conscious way instead of being sucked dry by them, being used by them to create depression, unhappiness, to create unnecessary suffering inside ourselves. And again, it can't be done bingo, This is something that it takes time, takes work on yourself, inner work, the development of a system that becomes capable of doing what I'm talking about. And then you got to learn to have patience with yourself, because from point A to point B, you're going to make a million mistakes. And instead of letting them drain you of your energy, You learn from them. Now I have to do this and grow. Now I have to continue to build myself inside. And what's the end goal of all this? Really, it's just living with an open heart, living with love, living with joy in your heart. That's the goal. But it's impossible to live that way if, problems manifest and we get destroyed by them. I hope that's clear. I'm not easy to do, but have patience and do the inner work, and it comes. One day you can do this if you do the inner work and build a system that's strong enough inside yourself to do it. That's why I have so many classes. I learned years ago. Even Rudy told me, he said, anyone who asks you who the guru is, tell them it's life. And to learn life's lessons, you have to be really strong inside. And to be able to use life's lessons to develop a spiritual life, you have to get really strong inside. You have to build a chakra system that enables you to do it. And it doesn't come by being holier than thou and, because you're a vegetarian or you're this or that. It comes because you do your inner work. You learn how to use the mind, the breath, your will, your need to grow consciously and do the inner work. And then one day this manifests. It just organically becomes part of your life. And then you stop getting swept away in other people's bullshit, You really do. It just bounces off of you. Yes, you have compassion and you have empathy with people, but you have a capacity to stay detached and not get swept away in other people's madness. Does anyone else have a question? Ask questions. My God.
I have another question
Yes,
out there. It seems as if it's a big leap that I don't comprehend to be able where your experiences are neither positive or negative. I I have a hard time knowing how to work in that direction.
Well, look, this is something, look, Bob, I've been doing this meditation for 50 years. Maybe, I don't know, 45 years, a long time. Do you think I understand this thing? I don't. I knew from the first day I sat down with Rudy, it worked. And I was a schmucky little kid when I first sat down with him, but it worked and it was changing me. And I continued to do it for years and years and years. And it eventually transformed me into not knowing how it works or even knowing how to do. Just I knew by doing this inner work, my chemistry began to see life differently. And by seeing life differently, things were no longer problems for me. They were opportunities to grow. That's what they were, opportunities to grow. Opportunities to build myself as a human being, to get more open, more connected to Shakti and God, so that my chemistry grew and enabled me to deal with these problems. So they weren't problems, they were opportunities to grow. And that's how I began to see things. No, I couldn't see things, when I first started like that, when I first started doing this. But over years of doing it, problems were no longer problems. They were opportunities to grow. after all these years, I have them today, but I don't see them as problems. I see them as a reason to grow, a reason for me to get bigger inside. I don't even understand it, Bob. I just know it works if you do it. And you begin to see a different world. You begin to see that all the negativity in the world is just teaching us. I mean, what I really began to see is all the negativity in the world is just a reflection of me. And I had to change inside. Now, if 8 billion people would just sit down and make an effort to change inside, you wouldn't have things like are going on in the Middle East, in the Ukraine. I mean, people would be operating from the heart, from love. But people have to make the effort to change. If they don't make that effort, that's what you got. You got war. You have internal war. You have external war. You have conflict, and you have problems that people think they can overcome by, having some huge ego thing that can slay them. It doesn't work. Do I understand it? No. Does it work? Yes. Do I want to understand it? After years of trying, I just gave up. And I said, what do I have to understand? Let me just live that way. Let me live that way. I mean, no, my mind isn't big enough to understand the way God operates. It's not big enough. But I can be a vessel through which that energy flows. And I can open and build a system that can do that. And that's what I learned from Rudy. That's what this meditation is all about.
Thank you, Stuart.
You're welcome, Bob. Good questions, Bob. Thank you. Good questions. Does anyone else have a question you would like to ask?
My third question is, why are people not reading the blog? It's just amazing.
Tell them. Be a testimonial. Yeah, it is amazing, Bob. It's the best stuff I've ever written. I don't even know if I'm writing it. I sit down and this stuff comes out. And then Kenny does a wonderful job of, doing the copy editing and fixing things that would take me months to see, and I don't believe what's coming. I mean, I hope you all read that stuff. It's like, I read it. And I'm saying, who wrote this? It's just coming through. So be a testimonial, folks. Send out notices to all your friends. Read Stuart's blog.
And it's a different energy from the class. It's a whole other realm that really works in a very, very interesting way.
Yeah. Maybe I finally learned how to be a writer.
Who has a spiritual teacher who quotes Henry Miller? That's what I want to ask.
Well, look, I read that 600-page book. I got through it. And that one paragraph was worth reading the book for. So that's why I quoted it and put it in there.
It's pretty good.
Dude, I love your blog. When is your book coming out, or is it out?
When is the book going to come out? I don't know.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I want to finish it first. I want to get all 108 of the essays done. And then I will start looking for a publisher. I might have to find a literary agent. I might have to do all that kind of stuff. It's something I have a lot of resistance because I've been through it so much in my life with literary agents and publishing and all that stuff. I have a lot of resistance to that. I don't have resistance to writing the book, but that other step has always been a big problem for me. But I'm going to have to do it. I think this book has to be out in the world. And as soon as it's completely finished, I will, it is finished now, but it needs a bit more of editing and refinement. And I worked through 76 of them already, of the 108. And as soon as it's finished, my job is going to be to find a publisher. If you know anybody, an agent or a publishing house that would be interested in this, let me know. If you know magazines that would publish this kind of thing, I could publish them in installments, There's 108 of them. Let me know. I mean it, I'm open to that and open to hearing from people. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? Okay. Okay, thank you. God bless you. I always tell you, you all are my teacher. And I come here to learn. I don't come here to teach. And every one of your presence here has helped me to grow and helping me to learn a great deal about myself and my connection with higher energy. So God bless you all and thank you. And there'll be a class on tomorrow. And I'm looking forward to seeing everybody. God bless you.
Thank you, Stuart.
Yeah, good night, Stuart. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Love you for many years.
Night. Thank you.